Hi, and welcome to the show. Subscribe at kevinmd.com/podcast. Today, we welcome back Dana Lujan. She's a healthcare strategist. Today's Kevin MD article is Grief and Leadership in Healthcare. Dana, welcome back to the show.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
All right, tell us what your latest article is about.
Oh, well, this latest article is about my personal loss and how it transformed my leadership. It explores how grief, rather than breaking me, taught me to lead with vulnerability, empathy, and purpose. It's a reflection on the human side of leadership and how true healing begins when we stop hiding behind strength and start leading with authenticity.
All right, and for those who didn't get a chance to read your article, tell us your story.
So, my backstory is my leadership foundation actually started off in the military. So, and that was back in the 90s. So, I don't know how the leadership continue on with the foundation now, but we've always had this stoicism involved in military. So, you know, always have this armor on, always push through, suck it up and drive on, soldier. And then, you come out to the civilian world and, we do have empathy and we do have compassion, but what is really empathy and compassion if you haven't really felt it from inside your
Hmm.
your family tribe, right? So when I lost my son's father, Joseph, that was like I learned to compartmentalize that loss, meaning that as a true leader, you're thinking about, okay, I need to make sure my in-laws are taken care of. I need to make sure my child is taken care of. I need to continue on pushing through because I need to pay the mortgage and the rent and the bills. And then late at night, you just close the door and you just start crying or doing what's needed. But then back, once you wake up in the morning, you have to perform. And but when you're hit with another loss, your child, your only child, at that's a moment where it really strips you down of everything you knew. Like your whole identity is stripped away. So who are you and how do you climb out of that?
So tell us the type of support that you leaned on during these tragic times.
So so if I take it back to when I lost my son's father, it was mostly his family and his friends. But again, it's a different type of loss. It wasn't when you're looking at, hey, I lost my spouse, you're looking at your present,
Mhm.
but you still have to continue on pushing forward for your kids, especially if you have kids, right? And making sure you're pushing forward and showing, hey, everything's going to be okay. Let's get you into therapy. But then we kind of forget about ourselves because us as individuals and being leaders, we tend to kind of like, okay, we need to make sure
Yeah.
everyone is supported. When I lost my only child, that's where it really shattered me because one, your whole identity is lost in a sense because I no longer have his father to lean on during this hard time. And then you ask yourself, am I a mother? Because I was a mother for 20 years. And here I am in leadership. And so you're looking at yourself like, wait, start pushing through, it's time for me to get back to work. But I don't know who I am. So during that time, I thank God for his friends because they kind of really rallied around me to make sure I was okay. My son's 20 something year old friends are the ones who supported me during this loss, which was really amazing because when you have friends who have kids, it's very hard for them. And I can't say support, but to really understand because who wants to think about their own kids passing away, right?
Hmm.
And then your leadership friends are it's kind of like you're living in shame. You have guilt and you're dealing with all these emotions and people don't know how to handle that version of you. It's a very tightrope to walk on.
So, as a healthcare leader, you mentioned that sometimes you have to show up despite the tragedies, despite unimaginable tragedies that you just described.
Hmm.
How did you make it through that situation? What are some of the things that you did?
So I remember walking into my therapist's office, and she's like, "Okay, as long as you do 3 things a day, that's good, and you can go lay down." And I go, "Well, I need to go walk my dogs because we had 2 dogs at the time." And she's
Yeah.
like, "No, hire a walker." And I'm thinking like, "No, I think I can walk them." And I truly believe because of that decision of me having to get up and making sure my dogs got walked helped me along the road. People allowing me space to, and I don't like to say cry, but to discuss my son,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone's kids, it's their whole world to them. And I know my son's passed away, but allowing that space actually helped as well. So it's every day, and it's not at first. It's not every day. It's like every every minute you have to make a choice of there's more to life than what I'm currently going through. There's more to life than what I'm currently going through is just a chapter,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to push through. And and you really have to dig within yourself. And there's times where you might see something. I was golfing one day and I did very well at this game and I was excited about it. So there's times where you have to be grateful for
Mm-hmm.
those moments. And then you can just go home and close the door and just allow yourself to feel the pain. And it's okay to feel the pain. You know, it's okay to say, I think I need to take a break from corporate America or from my job or from what I'm doing and sit on the sidelines for a few months so I can feel it, because when I come back, I want to be better. I want to be able to be a better leader, be a better person.
How did these tragic episodes affect your leadership? How did these episodes make you a better leader?
Um, well, I'm more in the present. When before I felt like I was always rushed. If I had an employee come in or call me trying to like, okay, yes. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I have this errand to go do. I have this deadline. Now I'm more or less like, okay, everything can park it. You have my undivided attention and what's needed from you. Listening, I've learned to when I'm listening to a person and they're telling me their situation, I'm looking for pauses and I'm able to grasp, okay, there's something's going on with them. So let me kind of delve into a little bit deeper. So I tend to be more like, okay, what's going on? Let me see if we can kind of work this out because you're not alone. And I think that's what makes me a better leader. It's the compassion, it's the vulnerability, it's the I'm having a rough day, so I need your help. It's okay to ask for help because people love to help out, no matter what their titles are. They're going to help you out, and it's okay to be vulnerable.
I love that word vulnerability because too often in healthcare we ignore vulnerability, right? Vulnerability sometimes is
Mm-hmm.
seen as a weakness. And I talk to a lot of physicians and going through medical school, internship, and residency, they're trained not to be vulnerable. So, talk more in depth about that power of vulnerability and how sometimes vulnerability in healthcare can make one stronger.
I have grown to learn to be vulnerable, and especially in healthcare, because when I do have moments, and I know I'm not on the clinician sides, but I do, work with NPs and RNs and providers. When you start asking for help or for you know a different perspective, people are more inclined to help you out. And when I say that's a really healing moment, because we can hide behind our screens and we think we're doing everyone justice of holding everything in, but what you're not seeing from the other side is what might be portraying out.
Hmm.
So I'm going to give you a good example. I compartmentalize my son's father's loss. So here I am wearing this protective armor, not being vulnerable, not asking for help because I am thinking that, hey, I have to, continue on the way with my kids, with my in-laws, keep a very stoic. But a few years down the road, and you're speaking to people, you start finding out like, Dana, you were a little intense. I was?
Yeah.
I thought I was holding everything together. No, you were a little bit intense. So with my son's loss, and I know I'm smiling about it now because it's growth.
Yeah.
With my son's loss, that vulnerability comes into place, and now I get a whole different perspective of me. It's not, oh, she was trying to hold everything together. She needs help, and it's that connection because we as people, as humans, are entwined to help each other out. We want to be able to be helpful. We want to be able to connect. And within that connection is what helps you heal from that deep type of loss, that profounding loss.
For those other healthcare workers who are going through or have gone through unimaginable grief, any pieces of advice or wisdom that you could share with them?
This is just a chapter in your life, and you just have to go through the uncomfortable, and it's going to be a tremendous growth. And I know it's easy for me to see it now because I've been through it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, every day choose life. Every day choose it because that's just a chapter of your story, and your whole story has not been written out yet. So you always have that choice.
We're talking to Dana Lujan. She's a healthcare strategist. Today's Kevin MD article is Grief and Leadership in Healthcare. Dana, let's end with some take-home messages they want to leave with the Kevin MD audience.
You don't grow where you're comfortable. You grow when you decide to face what hurts, sit in it, and still believe something better is coming.
Dana, thank you so much for sharing your perspective and insight. Thanks again for coming back on the show.
Thank you for having me.